And welcome to Big Blue Breakdown post-game show of the butt whooping versus Tennessee. I apologize first off. I'm a little flustered right now. The joy of the game. I'm trying to do this tech savvy, go live stuff. It's not really working up. I don't know what's going on. I wanted to go live like 10 minutes ago. It's not working, but I won't let it distract me from the great win that I just witnessed. I did not think we were going to win like that. I mean, the score is not going to tell you the story. If you was watching the NBA All-Star Weekend, you turn on the game, the score is not going to tell you that we dominated them for 35 of the 40-minute game. They had a 5-minute run where they came in. We played like lackadaisical. As always, we struggled at first with the 2-3 zone. We gave up some silly threes. We fouled 2 3-point shooters. But, man, if you watch the whole 40 minutes of that game, you know what I know. That we dog-walked those guys, that we dog-walked Tennessee. Now, it's a little later than normal, so I'm going to reel it back in. I was just watching the replay of the three-point shootout and had to see Devin Booker really let me down. And I had to watch Hami do his thing. And the jumping over Shaq, elbow in the rim, classic, which I'm not surprised Hami did that because I feel like if you watched this Kentucky team last year, that was really all he could do was dunk. I'm kind of surprised that he's doing this after he really tore up his ankle about, 3 months ago? Maybe it's a little longer. I don't know. But I had to watch, had to sit back and just enjoy my boy Hami out there slamming on people. I don't like the Oklahoma City Thunder uniform, but I like the All-Star underneath it or the Superman underneath it. So that's why I'm running a little late. Had some frustration with Facebook here. But then had to watch it, which I'm more than upset that you had to get 1 versus 5 on the same night as Saturday. This is the only thing I watch on All-Star Weekend. I don't watch that 300 to 200 game that we're going to get tomorrow night. I watched the Saturday night, 3-point shootout. Steph let it slip away from me. I thought it was his to win. And then Hami came out there and took it. Like I said, back to this game, though. 40 – let me give us room for improvement. 36 minutes of action. And I always show the shirt. No Kentucky shirt today. Super Bowl 53, wherever it says. Super Bowl 53, New England Patriots. The reason I'm rocking this shirt, I was running late. Got here about 8:15. Didn't even bother changing shirt. Threw on the TV. We had a lead. And we had the lead the entire time. So I wasn't about to change it. I didn't want you all mad at me. I don't want to lose to Tennessee and you say, well, Matt changed his shirt. I don't want to be part of that. It's not my style. But we came out here, and, man, everybody played good. I'm a little concerned because I don't know how – I'm looking at some of the numbers. A little concerned. The minutes of our starters, Reed Travis, 33. Hold up. P.J. Washington, 31. Hagens, 36. Keldon Johnson, 33. Tyler Hero, 32. This is on a 40-minute game. I don't know if that kind of play is going to hold up for 6 games in 3 weeks, or actually 9 games in 4 weeks if you count the SEC tournament. I definitely think this solidified what I needed to see. Yes, last week was a very somber show. We had to mourn. It was Losers Anonymous. We had to sit around and meet, and we had to talk it out. We had to talk through our feelings. We had to talk through our pains. We got through it. 3 losses by 5 points. But I think there's something there. Because you know what's not going to happen? Pesky LSU's here. We're not going to have to go to Alabama in the NCAA tournament. We're not going to have to go to wherever. I know it was a neutral site, so I apologize. We will have to do neutral site games. We're not going to have to go to Alabama. So when the tournament comes, we know what we have. We beat the likes of Kansas. We won at Auburn. And we beat the number 1 team in the country, Tennessee. I'm sold. I'm sold if we play like this. If we do what we're supposed to do, I'm very sold that we can be hosting up number 9. We still got some work to do. What we can't do is we can't go into Knoxville. We can't go into the Final Four and play silly for 5 minutes. But also, you're playing the number 1 team in the country. They're going to go on runs. Because, man, I don't know. I can't even harp on that because there's a part of me that says I want bigger things. There's a part of me that wants to harp on that 5 minutes. But, man, that other 35 minutes when we were doing whatever we wanted, We had Schofield foul out. We were tossing Williams around like he was some freshman over here at Southern Illinois. We were taking care of business. So I don't want to harp on it. I am more than thrilled. I'm excited with this outcome. But it just solidifies what I've already thought. That we're going. This team can and should win a national title. I hear it every week, and I'm going to remind everybody of it every week. The Duke, not too worried about them. They're just like no need to bring up some bad feelings here, but they're just like Kentucky was in 2010. A lot of pros, but not a lot of guys that are going to win a tournament. They can. I truly think Duke can win the tournament. I don't want to take that from them, but I think they're going to run into a pesky shooting team with a pesky defense. I hate to keep using that word with a team, and their shots aren't going to be falling. You get Cam Reddish going 2 for 14. You get R.J. Barrett and Zion not be able to hit the shot. Next thing you know, they're gone home. But this team, I mean, Ashton Hagans, what do you have? 7 points, 7 assists. That's what you want from your point guard. That's some numbers. When you have a deep team, that's what you want your point guard to do. You want your point guard to find other ways to eat that doesn't involve scoring. Some of the passes he made to open shooters, marvelous. Tyler Hero played like a man possessed. Not just shooting the ball. I mean, he was everywhere defensively. You know, my wife was watching. She don't watch a whole lot because I got this superstition thing. She watches sometimes when she watches, we lose, and I can't have that. She was like, "Does Tyler Hero always play this much?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, one game he played 38 minutes, 37 minutes. He's always playing around this type of minutes. But it was just something special that we saw tonight. It was him doing kind of what we've been praising PJ for doing, being all over the place, being in your face, being aggressive, but not always showing up on paper. I mean, he went had an easy shot, missed it, got his rebound, had another easy shot, missed it, got to the third attempt, made it, got fouled. And not just any time in a huge possession when they were kind of making a run. Actually, I think that was the second play that stopped their run. It was down to about 11 or 12, stretched it back out to 15. Man, I'll be honest with you. I was sitting there with 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and it was a 12, 13-point game, and I'm thinking, crap, I just gave Louisville fans a lot of hard time. You know, Duke, they blew a 23-point lead. We would have blown a 24-point lead had we let it happen. But we didn't. Because that was one thing that I was holding on to. When Duke came back on that Louisville team, their offense not only looked incapable of scoring, looked like they didn't want to score. Kentucky at times does struggle with some of the zones, whether it be 2-3, 3-2, 1-3-1. But it's not for lack of desire. It's just lack of them not really being able to figure it out. They were figuring it out. They were trying to make this happen. They were trying to win and win convincingly. They just didn't want to walk out of Rupp with a W because they heard this. And I've been on it. It's been a great week, to be honest with you. Considering we took a loss on Tuesday, because if you're going to lose, that's how you lose. You know, ESPN's other favorite child, Duke, comes back from 23 down, wins. We get kind of cheated. We get cheated out of a win, or at least an overtime opportunity. So literally ESPN brought us up in passing. Kentucky lost to LSU on a bad call. That's all he said. And then you come in, that's all we're going to be talked about. We got it done. And I think that was the message they want to say. Now, like I said, I will say again, we cannot go into Knoxville or any spot and have a lazy 5 minutes. You don't have to have a perfect 35 minutes either, but you can't have a lazy 5 minutes. But if you're going to have a lazy 5 minutes, you got to have that perfect 35 minutes. I've said it all season. So many times, Kentucky's either positioned with this or that. Either we're a struggling young team that gets it together in March, but we don't know how to handle success. Or we're a successful team, 2010, 2015, maybe 2017, go on a nice run, don't know how to handle adversity, we're done. 2013, 2012 was outliers. 2012, we was great all year, and we got the job done. 2013, we were garbage all year, and we couldn't even get any. We lost the first game of the NIT, or the NIT and the SEC tournament to Vanderbilt. And that, on a side note, that shows you how far the SEC has come. That was the worst year under Cal, and we were still the 2 seed that year. We're having a great year under Cal, and prior to this game, we were at the 4 seed. We still might be looking at a 2 or 3 seed. I digress, though. This team, what I'm saying, Cal's typically had 2 types. Either we struggled, don't know how to handle greatness. We've been great, we don't know how to handle adversity. Look at the breakdown, the microcosm of this one season, of what you've gotten in this one season. We played the national championship first game of the season and got busted. Bad. I don't even sure, Cody, you was there. Then we played meh. Played a lot of nobodies, didn't look good either. Then we pretty much, throughout the season, here and there, have played an NCAA tournament. Stop me if you've heard this before. A small school, a lower seed, with a guy who can score anywhere. UNC Greenville. That's a first-round team you would face. If you were a 4 seed, that's a 12 seed if I've ever seen one. Handled business. Seton Hall, that's an 8 seed if I've seen one, with a score being able to hit everything. What do you go, 6 for 8 in the second half? We lost, but we learned. Sweet 16 style teams, Alabama, Florida, pesky. You're better than them, but if they're passionate than you, you'll get the win. Lost to Bama, but man, we almost pulled it out. Should have lost to Florida, really. Turned it on second half, get out of here. Kansas, that's Elite 8 action. And tonight, that's a Final Four championship team. Now, now obviously in the Final Four, we won't get the luxury of playing in Rupp, but we'll still have a good run. So I want to see a little bit more, but I'm excited when this comes in because we've literally seen every type of game that you can see. We've been busted. We've gotten dominated as the number 1 seed, the number 1 team. We've beat the number 1 team. We had a huge lead, choked it away. We've been down huge and came back and won. We've started off slow, finished hot. We've started off hot and finished slow. We've started off slow and finished slow. We started off hot and we finished hot. We have done everything this season. And what are we, 24 games in? Still got a long ways to go. So I'm very excited what I'm seeing with this team. I just hope us as fans can embrace it and support it, because who knows? Cal's showing you never know what that next year's going to hold. You know, I'm not to get real deep with you guys, but it's almost like life. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Cal's teams aren't guaranteed next year. We could sit here and say, I think this guy's coming back, this guy's coming back. I can make a case where nobody comes back, and you're like, well, I kind of believe that. So like I said, enjoy this team, and I hope this team enjoys it. And I think that's one thing you're going to see. Ashton Hagans is a young guy, but he's fiery. Keldon's young, but he gets out of his own head sometimes. Tyler Hero's good, but he thinks he's too good sometimes. But all 3 of them together have a fire that you need. And then you look at PJ. PJ was here last year. PJ had the best game of his season, and in the same breath was kind of the reason we lost to Kansas State. I don't know if that, and I don't believe that 100%. There was a lot of things that went wrong in that game, but I guarantee you he carries that. I guarantee you he thinks that he's the reason he lost. Where do you go, 12 for 20? Maybe even worse. He carries that. He's not going to take this for granted. Reed Travis. I haven't looked it up yet. How far has that man been in the tournament at Stanford? I don't remember Stanford making any noise here recently. Not since, what, late 90s? Maybe early 2000s with the Lopez brothers? Those 2 guys cherish this moment. The other 3 guys are fiery enough. If we can get the motor off the bench. Which, aside from some silly stuff by Nick Richards, EJ played really well in some moments. Baker, his shooting wasn't there, but I thought his defense was good. I think he even had a block. Quickly's probably the only one that you can say that just didn't play great if you were nitpicking, but let's be real. We're all on cloud 9 right now. We love everything about this team. We love the way Brad Calipari played, and the man was on the bench redshirt. We loved what Johnny David did. Way to hold that bench down over there. I mean, because when you beat the number 1 team in the country like you did, like we did, everything tastes a little sweeter. That LSU loss is a little funnier. That ref blowing the call makes you chuckle a little more. But I see this team coming together. I'm excited. Now, one thing I want to see, look, I don't care about respectability for sure and all that. Yeah, I don't know. NIT team for sure. Who's the NIT team? Confused what's going on here. Explain that stuff. One thing I hate, this has nothing to do with respecting your opponent. This has nothing to do with respecting the game. I'm all for the loud and the brash. I'm all for all that. But one thing I can't stand, when a team chants overrated. I'm all for the court storming. I think there's some teams that shouldn't storm. I don't think Kentucky should ever storm a court. Especially not a Rupp. No sirree. That should never happen. But I can't stand when any team, I don't care if it's the worst team in the world, beats the Golden State Warriors. I can't stand when the fans chant overrated. I get why you're doing it. You want to send it to the opponent, a little salt in the wound, a little insult to injury. You're not as good as you thought you was. But what does that send to your home team? What does that send to your team that just played their butt off for 40 minutes? Because that's typically how you get a big upset, whether it's 5-1 or whether it's unranked over undefeated. You get a team who played their butts off for 40 minutes, or 48 if it's NBA, or 36 if it's high school, and you chant overrated. Basically, what you're telling your team is you're not that good. They're just worse than you thought. I can't stand it. No need to chant overrated. And like I said, I have no problems with rubbing his face. I have no problem with the spike in the ball, dunking on somebody, stepping over him. The kid at Nebraska whammed on somebody, stepped on his chest, stepped over him, stared down at him. I have no problem with none of that. It doesn't bother me. If you don't like it, stop it. I have no problem. Run up the score. 6 seconds left in the game. You're up 30. Shoot a three. I don't care. But what I just don't like is when a crowd goes overrated. They chant. You all know what they do. And I don't like it just because it just pretty much diminishes what your team did. Like, that's an excuse. Like, I see all the Tennessee fans on the internet, on social media. Oh, we needed that loss. That opened our eyes up. Did it? Or did it just show you you're not as good as you thought you was? Anti-Danny Green, they're not who you thought they were. So, I don't like those little excuses. I feel like your own home crowd is making an excuse for them. Oh, you didn't beat number one team in the country. You beat a team that was a charity number one team in the country. Don't chant it. Especially Kentucky. Because, even when a team might be overrated, when a team comes in undefeated and they're really not that good, they're still going to give you their best. No reason to chant it. So props to Cal for nipping that in the bud instantly. Just get it away. Shut that down quickly. No pun intended. He shut it down. I loved seeing that. And considering it was one man talking to 23,000, it shut down pretty quickly. It stopped. So props to Cal. Because don't take that away from our guys. Our guys played like the number one team in the country. If that Kentucky team played like that at the beginning of the season versus Duke, guarantee that outcome's a lot more different. So we played like the number one team in the country. They still played good. We just took it from them. Now, on that rant, I do want to do something. I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but I like a harmonious fan base. I like when we're all together, kumbaya, on the same page, and we fully understand what's happening around us. So one thing I want to prepare you guys for is the inevitable thing that's about to happen. And if you think about it, at first you're not going to understand. You're going to be frustrated, especially the way we played, and I get it. But you got to understand, when the AP rankings come out Monday, they're going to be a living organism. They grow, they develop, they intertwine. Certain things happen. So I fully prepare, and if I'm wrong, awesome. But I'm fully prepared for when the rankings come out Monday, especially the AP. Tennessee will still be ranked ahead of us. I'm fully prepared for that. And because the tournament, the rankings aren't always who is better, is team A better than team B. It's not always about that, even though I think that's the message that it should send. What you're going to have is a 4-loss Kentucky team who's number 5, and they lost on Tuesday. And you're going to have a team now that had 1 loss, and now they have 2. I can't see them falling to 3, or maybe even potentially 4. I don't know what Gonzaga's doing right now, but I could see them falling. Duke's obviously going to take that number 1 spot with Virginia right behind them. And maybe Kentucky doesn't even move. Maybe if Gonzaga loses, we bump up to 4. But don't be surprised. Don't be frustrated. Don't play the victim card. If you look at the rankings on Monday and it's Duke, Virginia, Tennessee, Gonzaga, Kentucky, it's going to be more frustrating, but don't even be surprised if you look and they're number 4 and we're number 5. It's just how this works. It's just how the body of work and the rankings. Because I think, in my opinion, it's a little lazy, because what you should do is scrap it every week and it should be the top 25 team no matter what. But it would cause some frustration and some confusion, and people don't want to look at their rankings, that how can a team be number 5 one week and then because they played horrible 2 weeks or 2 games in a row, they fall to number 25 even though they may have won. They're going to be still ranked higher than us. That doesn't mean anything. Rankings doesn't mean anything. All that we're playing for is that number 1 seed, and I just want to play in Louisville. Actually, if you gave me the number 1 seed but I had to go out west, or you gave me the number 2 seed and I could play in the South bracket in Louisville, give me the number 2 seed. That's what I love about brackets. They only matter for that first weekend. If you give us the 8th seed, give us the 8th seed. I don't even care. As long as it's in the South bracket. Because after we beat the 9th seed, not a problem. Guess what? We got to play the 1 seed. And I'd rather play the 1 seed when we're fresh. So we're playing the 1 seed. You beat the 1 seed. Now you are the 1 seed. So when you're a team like Kentucky that we all know can win, that we all know is that good, I mean, the seeding doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, it's going to be frustrating, and there's going to be a lot of whys and screaming, and the ESPN hates us, and they hate us. It's not that. It's just that the precedent they've set on rankings say if a team's number 1 with 1 loss, and 2 through 5 has at least 2, maybe even 3, 4, and team picks up a second loss, I don't care who beats them, Tennessee's not going to fall all the way to 6 or 7. I just don't see it. Hope I'm wrong. Steve Basham says, Quickly is horrible. I wish Green would have stayed and we benched Quickly. I think long term, I think Quickly is a better answer. It's about investment. If Green would have stayed, this was the last year you was getting of Green. And if Green would have stayed and we would have forced that square peg into that round hole, you may not get the Hagans that you have here now. I said this in football. I said Terry Wilson is either going to win. I said this way before the season. I said Terry Wilson's either going to take you 10 to 10 wins or 4 wins, depending on what. If you get the best Terry Wilson, you're getting 10 wins. If you get the worst Terry Wilson, you're getting 2 to 4 wins. And we got 10. Now he didn't. Obviously, we didn't always get the best. Gunnar Hoke, I thought was giving you 6 wins no matter what. He's just that guy. Like, he's not going to do anything too crazy with that defense we had in that running game. Gunnar Hoke was going to get you 6 wins. That's how I look at these point guards. Quade Green was going to make you a Sweet 16 team. No more, no less. If you roll the dice on Hagans and Quickly, at the time, I didn't know which one it was going to be. You got a national championship team. You got an NIT team. Now, obviously, with the talent around it, I don't think we was ever going to be NIT bound. But that's what you were kind of rolling with. Because I'll tell you what, Quickly reminds me of the type of guy that is going to struggle this year, but he's going to come back next year. And I'm going to go on record by saying it now. On February 16th, 2 days after Valentine's Day, hope y'all got your loved one something. I'm going to say this now. A sophomore Quickly would be better than a senior Green. I'm just going to say it. Gabe, welcome to the show. We missed you last Tuesday. I know we've been trying to get you on. We're going to figure this out. We will figure that out. I've been on record for saying that. I don't care if I have to go to MIT and get an IT degree. We'll figure it out. Gabe says, I say with today's wins, we should stay at 5. I think we do. I think you beat number 1. You know that the loss on Tuesday was a fluke. You can't really slip on that. Yeah, and he also says, who cares about rankings? It is a game-by-game, day-by-day to take coach speak, but there's still something beautiful about climbing that ladder. It's something about just staking your claim even more into the nuanced little things that we hold on to of being the greatest college basketball team of all time. I would debate that anyway. Kentucky is the greatest basketball team in college basketball history. You could tell me UCLA's got 11, but they did it in a decade. If it wasn't for Tubby's decline and his inability to get past the Elite Eight and whatever Billy gave us, we would have had a Final Four in every decade. The only decade we don't have is the 2000s. ever since the Final Four was invented, unless you want to take away 1939, that was the first year. It was only a 1 year. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 2010s, we got a Final Four. Only program to do it as far as I know. Could be fake. I don't know. That could be wrong, but I would say so. But so every little thing I like to see. Most games played is number one. I want to have that. Most wins. We didn't need the Florida win at Florida. We would, whatever happens in this tournament, it's not going to be depending on that one game. But I like having that one extra win. Keeps us ahead of Kansas, North Carolina, Duke. So look, I know, but the more weeks we can spend in the top five, more weeks of, and also, I still want a nice little matchup. I wouldn't mind a 4-2 matchup when we go to Tennessee. I always root for teams we're about to play. Because if we beat them, we beat a higher-ranked team. If we lose to them, we lost to a higher-ranked team. It always looks better on paper. So go Tennessee. I'm going to root for you because I want to do the same thing we did tonight when we get to Knoxville. But as my good friend on the show, Mike's been saying for the last month, when we were playing South Carolina, and we said, that Tennessee game. When we played Florida, and we said, we want Tennessee. If you get caught looking too far down the road, you're going to trip over something in front of you. We did last week with LSU. Shouldn't have. Look, bad call. I'm right there with you. It should have been reviewable. We let an 8-point lead slip. What we don't want is to be super hyped because we got to go to Missouri this weekend, or this Tuesday. I think it's a 9 o'clock game, maybe 7 o'clock. I don't know. They're 12-12. Like that is rough. And it's going to be rough for our guys to go into this road game against a bad Missouri team and play with the same fight that you saw us have tonight. So I expect that game to be rocky. I expect that game to be a little ugly. I'm not really excited to see how that one goes. We have an Auburn team that remembers that we stole one. I'm sure dude's still mad that we hacked him in the air. I'm using air quotes because it was all great plays. They feel like we robbed one from them, rightfully so. Just like if we played Alabama or if we played LSU again, we'd feel like they robbed one from us. So we can't get too excited about that at that Knoxville game because I'm telling you, I don't like giving compliments, especially to Tennessee. There's 3 teams I don't like giving compliments to: Duke, Louisville, Tennessee. IU, I've gotten a little better because they feel like their little brother. You feel like they're a Make-A-Wish Foundation. You can say something nice to them. Especially like, I'm glad you got Romeo Langford because it's not going to matter. Schofield and Williams is good. I don't think they'll ever play more than a handful of games in the NBA. Maybe late for a bad team or late for a really good team who's already got the playoffs locked up. I don't see them having much of a role in the NBA and the pro games. But they're great college players. They are the modern-day Tyler Hansborough, minus the pro career. The look on their face when the clock was running down, when E.J. Montgomery got that, which wasn't going to have no problem with it ever. I wish he would have done it with even less time. When he whammed it in wide open, cherry-picking style, the look on their face said, oh, it's on. And I truly believe it. I truly believe when we go to Knoxville, it's going to be a dogfight. Just like Missouri's going to give us their best. They beat us last year at home. Or at Missouri, they think they can do it again. So that's going to be a rough one. Auburn's got a big chip on their shoulder. They think we ruined their season because I think since losing to us, they just kind of fell apart. Their big man slowly coming back. You know he's going to be ready versus us in Lexington. We got an Arkansas team that's going to be pesky. Knoxville's out for blood now. I didn't like our chances of winning there. I thought our chances of winning there last week was about 40. After we lost to LSU, I was like, okay, guys, we're motivated. Our chances of winning there are about 60. Now I think it's evened out to about a clear 50-50. Obviously, this is still 2 weeks away. But I'm telling you, they're out for blood. Like, I think they got a picture of P.J. Washington's face on their locker room as we speak. Like, they are ready. They don't care about any other game. They'll take a loss to LSU. They'll take all that loss. They'll take every other loss on the rest of their schedule. They're out for blood. We got to be prepared for it. Then you got an Ole Miss team. I don't even know what their rank status is. They're going to be pesky. It's at Ole Miss. It's Ole Miss. That's a party school if I've ever heard of it. I could be from Mars. I come flying in, glance crack, whatever. crash land in Mississippi, I hear Ole Miss. Well, that sounds like a party school if I ever heard it. They're going to be drunk. They're going to be rowdy. I don't even know if they can sell alcohol on campus. It's SEC. I doubt it. So it's going to be a ruckus environment. We're going to come out here, and they're going to try to give us their best shot. They might be ranked. They might not. They're all going to be playing for seeding. Then you got a Florida team that's on the bubble. Florida hates us. Rightfully so. They're our little brothers. They're tiny. They're not our little brother. They're like their little neighbor kid that you never played with. Not only did you not even give me attention, like your mom couldn't even force you to play with him. He's just that little weird neighbor kid. The schedule is going to be tough. I'm all about – so we're going to get back. We're going to enjoy this win. But I told myself this morning when I woke up, game day was there. Dude hit the first time $19,000, which – let me go on another tangent if I would. He gets $19,000 for hitting that half-court shot. What did Keldon Johnson get for hitting that same shot at Seton Hall? Just saying. Got to pay these kids, putting their bodies on the line. When I woke up this morning, game day, amazing. Everybody was there. They picked Kentucky. The little kid busted his shirt open. The guy hit the half-court shot. He said, dropped the F-bomb on TV. I don't know if it was him. I don't know if it was a player. PJ. It was just a great environment. I wish I could have made it there. I really wasn't going to stand in line for 6 hours to get there, but I wish I could have. When I woke up this morning, I said, I want to beat Tennessee so badly. But it's Kentucky. We beat Tennessee. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm thrilled. I love it. I can't wait to talk some more smack to other Tennessee fans. It's a great day. But I'm not as happy as I thought I was. Because this proved to me what I've already thought, what I already hoped, what I actually hope every year. Kentucky's a national championship contender. I'm not talking about it's a tournament. If you get in there, you can make it. No, I'm talking about if you gave me 3 teams to say they will hoist the trophy and put the money on. If you told me to go, I go to Vegas and put money on 3 teams to win the title, and I'd get the same payout. Duke, Kentucky, probably Michigan right now. That's what I'm feeling. And it's great we beat Tennessee, but I need March to get here. And it's such a weird feeling. It's like when you're a kid or a grown adult. You know, you wake up Monday and you can't wait for Friday. And then Friday finally gets here and then it's Sunday night again and you're like, oh, where'd the weekend go? That's how March is going to be this year. We're going to come out here. We're going to either we win that's the reason I want the title so bad. That's the reason I always want the title. Not because obviously because I'm greedy or whatever, but I don't get a ring. I don't get a championship. The haters are sure going to hate. Fans are sure going to fan. Whatever happens. The reason what a title does for me, especially when you're Kentucky, is it solidifies that. It puts it in concrete. It does whatever happened to Han Solo in Star Wars. It just kind of freezes it in time. Look, if you're a Kentucky fan, you will always remember 2015. But if we could have finished that 40-0, that solidifies that year. Now you just kind of stumble over. Now, 30 years from now, when your grandkids are running around and when you're talking about the great Kentucky teams, it's going to get buzzed over. Just like the 54 team that went undefeated, just like the 66 team, even like the 97 team was really good. Gets buzzed over. 96, 98 gets all the love because they solidified themselves in history. 2012 solidified themselves. I think 2010 was probably a better team than 2012. 2012 gets to lock it into history because they won the title. That's what I want this year. Because if I fell asleep, if I fell into a coma on March 1st and I woke up on April 1st or April 8th and Kentucky won the title, I'm okay. Because I will go back and I will watch every game and I will cherish my new shirt and I will buy hats and I'll buy posters and I'll probably get a tattoo even. But if I wake up on April 8th and they said, hey, we lost in the championship game last night, all that crumbles apart. One of the most fun tournament runs I can remember was 2014. Big Shot great game versus Wichita State. Big Shot versus Lowell. Big Shot versus Michigan. Big Shot versus Wisconsin. I can't even watch those highlights anymore and get hyped because I know how that story ends. That was a great book with a bad ending. If we would have won that title, if we would have beat UConn, I don't care how ugly. If we would have just somehow squeaked out that win versus UConn, I'd have been hyped. I could sit back and I could watch and I could show my children and I could stream it and whatever because it's solidified into history. When you don't get it done, it's just a great shot that gets forgotten about. If the Fab Five wasn't the first to do the Fab Five, you'd have forgot about them. If the Fab Five was the third set of 5 freshmen to start, they wouldn't be anybody because you didn't solidify yourself. So if you're just tuning in, if I'm popping up on your feed and you say, what is this? And what is he rambling about? It's the reason that I'm so excited on the inside. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be laying in the middle of the night sleeping. I'm just going to wake up screaming because we beat number 1 Tennessee. And we not just beat them, we embarrassed them. Like we said, hey, you thought you was New Kentucky. You thought you was the king of the SEC. Get out of daddy's chair. Like the little kid playing in your recliner. Come on, it's time for me to sit here. We just went to get some chips out of the fridge. Or a beer out of, I don't know, wherever you keep your chips. But this team, I love watching them, and I already know what I've always hoped, what I hope every year, and you find out at a different point. I already know we're a championship contender. I already know we're one of the 3 that are going to get this done. Maybe even one of the 2. Maybe it's just down to Duke and Kentucky, and everybody else is just in denial right now. I already know this. So now it's just, it's almost like playing with a lead. You just hope you don't slip. Because I feel it. Right now, the only team that if we play our best, if we play like we did tonight, we're for 40 minutes. If we play like that every night, no team can beat us. I don't care how they play. And Duke better bring the same 100% greatness if they want to beat us. So basically, for the next 6 weeks, it's me trying to do what Gabe's saying, take it game by game, but at the end of the day, just saying, please nobody get hurt. Please nobody peak. Please nobody regress. Actually, if we go into Missouri and Tyler Hero starts 6 for 6 from 3-point line at halftime, I'm going to call Cal personally and say, take him out. Save some of those for March. We already know. Everybody who's been here, everybody who's watched knows that this is one of those teams that can be talked about. You could 96, 98, 12, 19, if we get it done. If not, this is going to be one of those years that you forget about. And when you're sitting at the bar with your buddy, you're like, hey, remember that 19 team? They were pretty good. And the guy's like, well, we lost to so-and-so. And it's just going to go off into the wind like a tent not staked down. We need to solidify this team. I do this. I love to talk Kentucky. Like I said, I always say this every week. If I wasn't talking on there, I'd be talking my wife's ear off. So she thanks you guys for tuning in here, watching. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, always feel free to bring the chat. If you find a way to invite yourself on, I'll bring you in and we'll chat as if just like 2 old friends. But I don't know how to do that. Kentucky's playing like a top 2 or 3 team as a night. Yeah, well, John, 21-4, and you lost 3 by 5 points. Like 3-point swing. You go to Alex Trebek and say, or no, who's the guy that runs Wheel of Fortune? Say, buy me some points. Give me a vow. Give me 6 points. We win. We're undefeated. Where we got 1 loss. And we'd be by far the number 1 team in the country. If we had only lost to Duke and took care of business everywhere else, which I say that, and I'm trying to have my cake and eat it both, because I honestly don't think we would be this good if we had snuck out those wins. If we would have been able to hold on to them, I think we would have been cocky, a little head too high. I'm like, we're good. We don't need to get any better because we figured this out. Those losses got us to where we're here now. But let's just pretend for a second we did not have them. We're sitting here with, we would be 24-1. We would be already number 1 team, and we'd probably have all the receiving votes next week for the number 1 team because we just blasted what would probably been the number 2 team. So, yeah, I think this is going to be one of those ones where right now you say, oh, they got 4 losses. They're overrated. When we're sitting 36-4, you'll say, hey, one of the best teams. And it happened. And look, the one that jumps to my mind, because I thought this same thing, and all hooker jokes and all taking the banner jokes aside, that 2013 Louisville team was actually really good. I didn't watch them much during the regular season. Tournament starts, they're the overall number 1 seed, sitting there with 5 losses. I'm like, what's going on here? They got 5 losses. Who are these guys? They win the first weekend. They win the second weekend. They squeaked by Wichita State, and they win the national title. Got vacated. But still, you sit there and you look like, oh, crap, they're that good. I didn't realize it. Hate to ever give a compliment to them. Man, I probably should quit. I've already given a compliment to Tennessee, given a compliment to Louisville. Screw it. Zion can dunk good. Man, did you see him punching the ball? Man, get out of here. But yeah, I mean this team's good. Don't let the little things, because it's so easy. They always say, hold on to the little things in life because it's so easy to take them for granted. It's so easy to take this team for granted because it's so easy to watch. My man said it a little earlier. Higgins is horrible, or Quickly is horrible. Well, he's pretty good. Don't take it for granted. If anybody's got anything to say, jump on in. Like I said, man, we went a little later. NBA All-Star game. Whoever scheduled that, I know they don't care. But why did we have the best game of the Kentucky season to date and NBA Saturday night? That's the only thing we watch. I mean, I'll watch a little bit of the NBA All-Star game tomorrow, but it's going to be fun. Try to see what our guys do. Oh, yeah, what's your thoughts on Anthony Davis? Keep it Kentucky, but going to the NBA will intertwine. Anthony Davis thoughts? Anybody? I mean, I want him to be happy. He's a Kentucky guy. I'm just going to support him. She signs a contract. Don't be surprised if they don't let you out of it. Don't be surprised if they don't send you where you want to go. Just saying. I can't go into my job and say, hey, give me this position, and I want to work in the Florida market. I want to go to L.A., and I want to twice my salary. I can't do that. I don't care how good you are. Let's see what we got here. John says, I agree. Seton Hall, 1 point, any one game. Alabama, LSU, 2 points, same thing. It could have been our game, but that's how basketball is. Yeah, hey, all that's true. You take everything that happened to Seton Hall, or everything that happened this season outside of the Duke, even including the Duke game. 34-point beatdown. Dude getting absurdly hot, LSU, or Seton Hall. Bad call, LSU. Alabama just going on vacation for 15 minutes. Much rather have all that happen pre-February. Get out of our system in March. We've learned by then. I think there's things that we're going to learn that we're picking up. I've said this. One of the things that I'm excited that we do, and people debate me on this, when I forgot what team it was early in the season, played a 2-3, and we struggled. It went to a 1-3-1, and we looked lost. Like, I thought we were going to lose off that alone. It might have been Vandy. It might have been Texas A&M. Maybe it was somebody. Maybe it's Alabama. And I was like, what's going on here? And I said, hey, I'm excited to see that we finally figured out, because you kind of saw it. Offense kind of came together. We started, because this is conversations I've been having, and I'm glad we can kind of see where it's at, and it makes me feel better. Not saying that I'm the Swami that I knew this was coming. This is what kind of what I was hoping for. Offensively, we looked rough against Duke. Southern Illinois, all those other teams, we looked bad. Then it was the Seton Hall game. That the shots were there, they just weren't falling. And that's why we lost. And everybody said, oh, well, that's basketball. You don't make shots, you don't win. Yeah, but there's one thing from passing the ball back and forth and holding it for 3 seconds and then shooting an ugly shot. And there's another thing to pass with intention. That every pass had a purpose. Every pass had a direction. When player A passed to player B knew how to get to player C. The ball wasn't going in, but our offense had a purpose. Then a couple weeks later, offense is kind of scoring. We see this 1-3-1. We see these 2-3 zone, and we're just looking awful. And we figure it out, we get that win. And I'm like, hey, we got that win. And everybody says, oh, it was against Vanderbilt. It was against this bad team. But it's fine. Because you figure out you don't learn how to drive on the Autobahn. You don't hop on the Daytona 500 and learn how to drive. You learn how to drive in your backyard in an old truck that doesn't go over 20 miles an hour. That's how you learn. We learned how to score on the 1-3-1. We know it. We learned how to score on the zone versus some questionable teams. If you watch that Louisville and Duke game, that's what turned that around. They threw a zone at them that no team had thrown at Louisville, especially no team that talented, that athletic, that strong, that good. Louisville just imploded. They threw it at us. We struggled a little bit. We said, hey, guys, we've been here before. I learned how to drive in the backyard. I learned how to drive on the old gravel roads. So now when I'm in this interstate and it's pouring rain, I know how to drive. That's what happened against these 1-3-1s, these zones, these things these defenses that are intended to stop teams from scoring. At least teams that can't shoot really great. And we figure them out. Yeah, of course it started versus UNC Greensboro or Vanderbilt. And then it moved up to Florida. Florida tried it. Florida's a little better than those. Not as good as Tennessee. We got to figure it out. And this is going to keep building. So when we're playing in the national championship game against Duke and we're up 10, 4 minutes to go, and they throw that 1-3-1 ass or that full court 2-3 zone where they're pressing and still dropping back in the zone, we've got to figure it out. We've done this. All right, guys, that's it for me tonight. It's late. NCAA greatness, NBA, All-Star game weekend. That's it. A great win. Telling you, feeling it. Swami says, I thought it was last year. I thought winning on the 8s was our thing. 58, 78, 98. I just assumed 18 was our thing. It wasn't. 19 it is. Give us up. Like, share. Mike usually tells you what to do down here. I don't know. I just like talking Kentucky. Thanks, everybody who tuned in. Thanks for the support. Go Big Blue. I got us, as of today, it'll probably change by tomorrow, but I got us beating Missouri by 12. I'm out.